Okay guys, we're back from Round Top, Texas. I'm here in my kitchen at home. I wanted to show you guys a look at everything that I got before I styled the pieces around the house. I will link the vendors in the bottom right hand corner so that you guys can check them out on social media. Some of the vendors don't have social media, but whatever information that I can include, I will include it in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, I'm going to show you what I got from Cotton Shed. This was over at Blue Hill Farms. I had a small ironstone pitcher. I like this one because it had clean lines. I love antique and vintage things, but I do not like ornate things. I like them to have more simple silhouettes, straight lines, clean lines, and even sometimes geometric. Next, we have this ironstone vase. I liked the silhouette of it, that it had a bottleneck top and was bigger on the bottom. I think I'm going to use this to put next to the stove with wooden spatulas. This is an ironstone serving bowl from UK Treasures. I liked the geometric shape and that it had sort of a pedestal silhouette on the bottom. This will stay in the kitchen, maybe even as a fruit bowl or just to use as serveware. This is also from UK Treasures. We had a casualty. As you can see, this is one of two casualties, but I really liked the silhouette of this. Again, the clean lines, the handles. A lot of these, and even there's little ridges here, but a lot of these have acorns and different things. It's a little bit too ornate for me, but I've been dying to collect ironstone for the kitchen. And one brand that I'm super drawn to is this brand, which is Johnson Brothers. You can see there's even like little scallop edges up here. Really, really nice. And hoping that I can fix that. This is still super dirty. I haven't even cleaned anything, but here is another pedestal bowl. I really love this sort of feminine, dainty, scalloped edge. It's a low bowl. Not only is it a really good styling piece, but it will also be good for serveware. We love cooking. We love having people over. And one thing I did not have enough of was serveware. So I'm excited to use these. I promise this is the last little cluster of ironstone that I purchased. I was dying to start my collection of ironstone, but online these items are so expensive and often cost a lot to ship. So it's just a simple oval platter. I think that this would be really great for serveware, something like sliced meat or carpaccio would be really nice. Last piece of ironstone serveware is this. I loved the silhouette of this, that it's oval but more narrow than most that I've seen. I've actually never seen one exactly like this before. Certainly they're out there, but I really love this. I think it's classic and timeless. Even if I switch out some of my other stuff throughout the years, I think that the white ironstone is something that I'll really have forever. I got two botanical prints from the same seller that I bought some ironstone from. These will need to be framed, but I fell in love with two other botanical prints that were very similar to these, same colorway, and they were $800 a piece. So instead, I came across these like 30 minutes later and decided to get these instead. These are vintage botanical prints just out of a book, but I love these colorways. I plan to mat them with a white mat so these damaged edges will be covered up. And then a really simple either gold or silver frame I think is going to be the move. Here is the other one. Really cute. Maybe even for the kitchen. I have a window here. I know you can't see it, but there's space on each side of the window, and I think it would be really nice to have something to go on each side. I'm a big believer of kitchen related art inside of the kitchen. Some people hate that, but the kitchen is for cooking, and there's a lot of really cool kitchen artwork out there. Paintings of vases, pots and pans, still lifes, and I think it's a really nice touch. Yes, in my opinion, your kitchen does need artwork. Next, we have these wicker baskets. These are a pair. They nest perfectly. I really liked the oval shape. It is so hard to find a pair of nesting baskets that when I saw these, I could not leave without them. Next, I have this beautiful Murano glass mini lamp. These are incredibly hard to find. The last one I found was on First Dibs, and I think it was like $3,000. I got this for 230. This seller for this was also at Blue Hills. We need to get it rewired, but that's a simple job. You can usually order the wiring kits off of Amazon. And if not, I know a guy who will rewire lamps. He's located in Fort Lauderdale, and I will link his information down below. Next is this copper pail. This apparently was used to make chocolate back in the day. It has the gold handles on it, which I love. It's super heavy, and I'm thinking to put this on the kitchen island. Our kitchen island is massive. It's like 9 or 12 feet long, and everything that I put on there so far looks super small and dinky. So I'm hoping that this will be a good item to put on there. It's sort of the color of fall leaves, and I love that. To fill with maybe artichokes or apples, I think would be really nice. Here is one more new item that we got in Round Top. This is not antique, but I loved the artist. I thought she had great things. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that the sort of persona of our house, if you will, is Saltwater Cowgirl. And this I thought was perfect. It is a charcoal sketch of cowboys. And like I said, the accent color of our home is blue. It has a blue mat, and I love the gold frame. I thought that this was so nice, very high quality. It's a little bit more contemporary. Right now, what we have in the house is mostly antique oil paintings and new black and white photography. I thought that this was a good switch up, a little something different to add in. To finish up the kitchen items, I have a couple more things to show you guys. These are silver serveware. I collect sterling silver serveware, specifically with this shape on the bottom. I did not know the brand or what this was called. I just look for pieces that match this. The seller who I bought these from is not available on any social media, but here is her information. She was located in the Red Barn, and this I just have to show you because if you collect silver spoons and knives, any kind of sterling silver serveware, I did not know that this existed, but she gave me a checklist with prices of all of the items from that brand that I collect so that over time I can check things off, make tallies of how many I have, and eventually work up to having a full set. So this is legendary to receive. I'm so happy she gave this to me. Here are two more small spoons. This is not from the same dealer, but it does have a similar shape. This, from what I've been told, is actually hotel ware. I have a couple more that are like this. I'll show you guys what I have. As you can see, this is what I've been collecting, so it all has the similar shape. The goal is going to be to get an entire set so that that can be our daily silverware. I just think that that is so cool and so classic. Heirloom pieces that you can pass on for generations. I think that that is what this is all about. Things just aren't made like they used to be made. My family did not come from money, so they did not have things to pass down to us, although they have made a great living for themselves. There's just something so nostalgic, and it feels like it has a little bit more meaning to collect forever pieces that have a story, that have been places and had previous lives, that are really well made, not batch made in China. I think that's what makes vintage and antique so special. There's really nothing like it. And I love shopping. I love shopping new and old. But when it gets into homeware, If you pay attention to the quality and the craftsmanship of these items, vintage and antique is where it's at. And a bonus, you get unique pieces that are often one of a kind or rare collectible items. Some of these things even go up in value, but I don't think that as a normal person, if you're not a dealer, don't buy things because you hope to sell them one day. It's really more of a collection. Next are these pickle forks, mother of pearl and sterling silver. I feel like back in the day, they made things for everything. I mean, this fork is extra long so that it can fit down in a pickle jar, and it has these little notches on the edge of the fork so that your pickle doesn't slide back off. I just thought that that was so charming. So I got two of these. She had a set of six, but wasn't willing to come down on the price. And I thought they were expensive for what they are, but I'm happy that I have these two. This lady also wasn't on social media. She does have a website, so I will link that. Next, we have these pots behind me. I have been looking for singular raising the bar nested pots like this for a long time. And I found these ones in great condition. The tinning on the inside is also in great condition. You can use them. They're not just for decoration. I have the largest of this set over there. I'll show you guys just so that you know. Copper cookware has a line of tinning on the inside. When the tinning has been damaged, which is only going to happen if you buy vintage or antique, this is what it looks like. You cannot cook on this. This needs to be retinned. Same with this. There is a man, I'll link his information below, but I discovered him through Rajiv Surendra. If you don't follow him on YouTube or Instagram, you should. Very talented guy who will retin these. I think it's something like $100 a piece to have it retinned. You need to ship it out. He's somewhere in New England, but it's worth it. If you find some of this stuff that has maker's marks on the bottom, which shows where it was made and who it was made by, that is heavy, good quality, it's sometimes worth it to get it retinned because a lot of this stuff is not made in these designs anymore. And if it is, it's crazy expensive. You're looking at like $1,000 sometimes for a pot. So worth it. This next piece, I've been looking for something like this for at least 4 years with the mirror inlay with good patina gold gilding. And here she is. So I am super excited about this piece. It is very hard to find something like this. They usually cost thousands of dollars. This was a great purchase from Round Top. I don't know where to put it, but I will figure that out at a later time. Here so that you can see the detail. I love a mirror with patina. I'll show you sometime, but in the powder bathroom, I have painted it a French roast, a really dark brown. And the mirror that we have in there is very patinaed. And the character that it adds to a space, you just can't get with new items. And things like real gold gilding on frames is very hard to find. A lot of it nowadays is fake, and in person you can really tell the difference. Also from the same seller is this. I loved the creamy white glazed ceramic, the small little handles. Something like this with a great silhouette in an off-white for me is my favorite type of pottery to find. I love ironstone in the kitchen, but everywhere else in the house, this is by far my favorite type of pot to find, and I don't come across them often. My favorite because of the creamy glazed color. It adds a little bit of warmth. I'm not a huge fan of stark white. Although a little bit here and there does freshen up a space, for the majority, I'm looking for something a slight off-white or even an ivory color, and this definitely fit the bill. Here is a piece of art from the same dealer. He mostly sold art. This is an American Impressionist antique painting. It has no signature. If you look at the detail, you can tell the age. I will put his information below, but This dealer was very reputable. He made a guarantee on all of his art that it was authentic, just as he was selling it and describing it to be. Unfortunately, some of the vendors at Round Top, you can tell they're selling things as antique and vintage, but if you have a discerning eye, you've been collecting for a while, you can see that these pieces are just replicas. They aren't real. When you're splurging on something like an antique oil painting, you really want to know that it is what they're selling it as, that you're not being cheated in any way. This man, I absolutely loved him. I will again put his information, but he had many expensive pieces. He was a collector himself. He made a guarantee on everything and he wrote it on the invoice. It can be returned, refunded, swapped out, and that everything was certified and guaranteed to be what he was selling it as. So I felt really comfortable buying from him, but that is something to keep in mind when you're shopping around. I have a discerning eye. I've been doing this for 6 years or so, which I know is not that long, but it's long enough to be able to see when something is not authentic. It's just a replica. So keep your eye out for that, especially when you're buying a more expensive item like the oil painting. I know I haven't talked about prices and I don't plan on it, but I will mention for this piece, it was 2,200. I talked him down to 1,700 and got his personal information. I chatted with a lot of the vendors who I bought things from to learn from them, learn the history of the pieces, pick their brain. I want to know how they got into this, how they train their eye, how they learn the different eras, how they're looking for quality. I think that as a collector myself, that's such an important thing. There's really no one out there to teach you this stuff except the vendors themselves. So utilize them as a resource. Next, I have this basket. I loved the shape. I loved the detail of the wood sticking out and the handles. This is super sturdy. This was $125. Many of the baskets that I've seen of that quality are much more like 250 or 3 something. The seller who was selling these had so many of these stacked up. I don't actually know if they're vintage, but for me, for the price and the quality, that was worth it regardless. Next, I'm going to try to lip this, but I have a set of 2 cast iron urns. I don't actually know if that is antique or not. I spoke to a couple other dealers who said for that size, a pair of 2 matching would be more than what I paid. I paid 195 a piece. So I'm not sure if they're vintage. I thought they were when I bought them, but nonetheless, I'm happy with that purchase. I've been looking for those for many years, a set of 2 in a big size like that. I would have even gone a little bit bigger, but I haven't been able to find them. So at 195, I thought that it was a fair steal. They are solid cast iron, very heavy, and I've only found one before and it's like this big. Another item from the same dealer as those cast iron urns is this pillow. This is new, not antique, but I just loved the beige toile pattern on this. It has a zipper so that you can remove it. It's double-sided. I am not a fan of printed pillows or any type of pillow that is one-sided. It has something like a plain canvas or something on the back. I won't buy them. But this I thought was beautiful and it matches our color palette. I have 2 Turkish rugs. I've been wondering this whole time how I'm going to show these to you, but here goes nothing. Here's one. Really pretty. I wish I knew more. And here's the second one. With the rugs, Rajiv Surendra on YouTube has a great video explaining Turkish rugs, how you can tell the region and the time period that they're from. I am not knowledgeable about rugs whatsoever. I just buy what I like. I wish that I knew more. All I know is the quality. When I see something, I can tell if it's real wool or if it's a polyester blend, especially to the touch. I have worked with textiles for many years and I can tell the components of fabric. When it comes to the knotting and the subtle sort of details in the rug, I can't tell if it's a Turkish rug new, an antique Turkish rug, what region it's from. I just don't know enough, but that's something that I would really love to know. If you can tell what the rug is and you comment below, please let me know because it might not even be antique. I'm not sure. But for the price, I love the colorways. I knew where they were going to go. They're the right size, so it's still worth it in my opinion. Here is one of the small tables that we got. I was thinking as a coffee table, sort of in between two upholstered accent chairs. This was our second casualty of the drive home. We had this strapped to the side of the car hauler, and as the car hauler vibrated, it not only broke off a chunk here, but it also did a little bit of damage to the edges. So, not a huge deal. I saved the pieces that came off and I also bought wood glue. So, I'm going to go ahead and try to repair it myself. And if not, I have a mill worker who does custom cabinetry and also builds custom furniture who said that he will happily repair it for me. So, I'm going to try first myself and if not, give it to him. So, it's not really that big of a deal, but it is what it is. Okay, guys, we're moving. I'm taking you around the house to show you the different furniture items that we got. Here's our new outdoor furniture. It is French. We have the table and two matching benches. If you look, the joinery on here is pretty serious. This stuff is made with little to no nails, definitely no glue, and they just don't make stuff like this anymore. Then we have this woolly ghoul planter. So happy to have it. I just think that the silhouette of something like this is so beautiful. It's such an architectural piece. I have it out here for now. I'm not sure if it will live out here. Really pretty. I know most dealers are going to tell me that I probably shouldn't have these wood items outside. They are in a covered patio. If you have any ideas of something that I can coat them with, like a Minwax or something that I can rub on, that will help preserve the finish, that will not tint the color and is matte, please let me know in the comments below. That's something that I need to do a little bit of research on. I want to keep them outside. For me, it's worth it regardless. Whatever I can do to make them last as long as possible would be ideal. Now we are going to head into the master bedroom, leaving that a little bit open for my son, my teacup Yorkie named Bentley. We did find two nightstands. They are not an exact match. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but I really like the two of them. They are similar, but not a matching pair. Okay, so these are technically chests of drawers, probably used, I would say, as like dressers back in the day. We are using them as nightstands. They are big and I just love the detail. Again, they're not super ornate, clean lines with a little bit of a scallop detail at the bottom. I like the dark wood. I joke, I say our house is 50 shades of beige. Of course, there are some colors, but the base of our house is all off-white, cream, brown, and it's really warm and inviting. So here's the next nightstand. It has a similar scallop edge at the bottom. It is slightly darker in tone, about 1.5 or 2 inches shorter than the other one. It has clean lines on the edges, clean lines on the drawers, 3 drawers, the same as the other one. A little bit more of a dainty hardware. Really, really beautiful. The drawers work, they don't smell weird. There's no mold. Each one of these are very old, early 18th century. The darker one over there, I think, might even be 17th century. Really pretty. And again, I think we needed the dark wood. They might be a little tall. I was thinking about this Sunday evening when we move them in here. I think that I can make an adjustment. This bed has adjustable feet. If it doesn't adjust enough, high enough, I can always buy feet on Amazon that will hike the bed up even further or get an extra mattress pad, which will give us a couple inches and fix the problem. All right, last but not least, we have this beautiful tapestry in my office. Pardon the mess in my office, but this beautiful vintage French tapestry, the detail on this, the colors, and the scale, it's about 6 feet wide. And arguably, this is one of my favorite purchases of Round Top. I needed a large scale art in my office. The colors in this are just so perfect. Couldn't be happier. This is made by first creating a smaller scale canvas painting, and then they copy the painting and they print it onto a large tapestry like this. And then they have a special technique that gives it this crinkle weather effect. The woman that I bought this from hand makes these herself. She's an artist. I think she works with another woman. Again, I'll put her information here. This was one of two tapestries that she had at Round Top that she did not make but were found vintage over in Europe. If you go to Round Top with the intention of buying furniture that you are either going to hire someone to transport for you or transport yourself, if you have something like a car hauler or an enclosed trailer with you, I highly suggest finding the vendors that you like their furniture and talking to the person who is running the booth, telling them that you're a serious buyer looking for big furniture items. They will likely invite you to their warehouse. Many of these vendors have warehouses where they store a majority of the furniture, but it's by appointment only and it's only for serious buyers. So if you are someone who is willing to ship or haul big furniture, or you are an interior designer, that is going to be your best bet for furniture. We didn't end up doing that this time because I found so many great items just shopping around, but we were invited to some of the warehouses. I just did not want to waste their time. We already had many of the big items that we needed, so I just saved their information for later. I'll likely use it next time we go back. I just wanted to hop on really quick and give you guys a little bit of an outro and wanted to tell you guys we didn't end up linking the vendors in the bottom corner, but if you go follow me on Instagram at Valenti Interiors, I have a highlight on my Instagram page called Round Top. And if you click through that, all of the items that we saw and purchased are on there in the highlights with the vendors linked. And if you go to the vendors' Instagram profiles, they will have their website and also information of where to find them at Round Top. A lot of the vendors that I spoke to go to the same area of Round Top each year. So either they're at Marburger Farms or Blue Hill Farms. I think it's maybe just Blue Hills. Those are the two main areas that we shopped at. Everything we purchased was from those two areas, except for two Turkish rugs, which again, the information will be on my Instagram profile. So thank you guys for sticking around. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. The next two videos in the pipeline are a master bedroom makeover and a spring home and garden refresh. Bye.